Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make American flag cookies. So let's get started. So to make the sugar cookies, in the bowl of a stand mixer, or you can use an electric hand mixer, add in the softened butter and sugar and cream them together on a medium speed. Keep in mind that the more air you whip into it, the more the cookies will spread when they bake. So if you don't want them to spread a lot in the oven, don't cream the mixture for very long. Scrape down the sides occasionally to ensure even mixing. Then add in the egg and vanilla extract and mix them together until they're well combined. Again, scrape down the sides to ensure even mixing. Then in a separate bowl, add in the flour, baking soda, and salt, and whisk them together until they're combined. Then add the dry ingredients into the rest of the mixture and mix it on a low speed until it's just about combined. Then turn it out onto the counter and use your hands to bring it together into a ball. Try not to overwork the dough or your cookies will come out quite tough. Then divide the dough into 3 equal portions. To make sure they're the same size, I'm using a scale. Then place 1 portion into a small bowl and add red food coloring to make the dough red. Try and use gel food coloring so you get a nice color without changing the consistency of the dough. And mix it together using a spoon. Then once the food coloring is mixed in enough, use your hands to mix it in completely. Then do the same thing with another portion of the dough, coloring it blue. And just leave the last portion plain. Then wrap each color in plastic wrap and refrigerate them for at least an hour until they're well chilled. Once they're nice and chilled, take the red and the white dough out of the fridge and leave the blue one in the fridge. Then knead each dough a few times to make it easier to roll out, but don't overwork it. Then lightly flour the work surface and the top of the dough and roll out the red dough until it's 17 inches long and 5 to 6 inches wide. You need it to be a nice rectangle shape with straight sides, so use your hands to pull in the edges so they're straight. And continue rolling it out and pulling in the edges until it's a nice rectangle shape that's 17 inches long and 5 to 6 inches wide. Then do the same thing for the white dough, but only make it 15 inches long. Once each dough is rolled out, measure 3 inches across the dough. Then use a pizza cutter or a long knife to cut across the width of the dough. And do it 2 more times, measuring 3 inches across. And do the same thing for the white dough. Then measure 2 inches across the red dough and cut across the width. And you should have 4 pieces of the red dough that's 2 inches across. And do the same thing for the white dough, but you should only have 3 pieces. Then you need to stack each of them on top of each other, starting with red, and alternate stacking each color. When you're stacking them, it helps to add a little water in between each layer so they stick well. Then stack the shorter pieces onto the right side of the larger pieces. Then take the blue dough out of the fridge and knead it a few times. Again, don't overwork it. And roll it up until it's as long as the rest of the dough. And shape it into a square shape. Then place it onto the rest of it. It should be the same size as the dough next to it, so if it's too high, you may need to trim some of it off. Just keep trimming and placing it on top until it's just about the right height. Then press them together so they stick together. Wrap it in plastic wrap and place it into the freezer for 20 minutes until it's firm. Meanwhile, preheat the oven to 375 degrees. Once the dough is well chilled, remove it from the freezer. Then use a sharp knife to cut 1/4 inch slices, and each cookie will look like the American flag. So just cut out the cookies and place them onto an ungreased baking pan. Leave some space in between each cookie. Then bake them in the oven for about 8 minutes. Don't bake them until they start to brown around the edges. When you first take them out of the oven, they will be quite soft, but they will firm up as they cool. So once they're ready, remove them from the oven and add white chocolate chips on top of the blue part of the cookies for the stars. You need to work quickly so they stick onto the cookies while they're still hot and soft. Then leave them to cool for about 5 to 10 minutes on the pan. Then transfer them to a cooling rack and let them cool completely. And that's how to make American flag cookies. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I have so many more on my channel, so be sure to check them out and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.